Have you ever found yourself thinking about the really big questions in life? If so, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're kicking off a quest. We're going to treat philosophy not like some stuffy, intimidating subject, but as a really exciting personal journey. So, let's dive in. You know, the first step on any journey is figuring out where you're even headed. And the word philosophy itself gives us this amazing clue. It comes from the ancient Greek philosophy. If you break that down, you get philo, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. So right at its core, philosophy isn't about being the smartest person in the room, it's about being a lover of wisdom. How cool is that?
And check this out. This statue perfectly captures that idea. This is Sophia herself, the literal personification of wisdom. For the ancient Greeks, wisdom wasn't just some abstract idea. No way. It was this powerful, almost tangible ideal that you could dedicate your entire life to pursuing.
Okay, so that brings us right to the heart of our quest. It's one thing to say you love wisdom, but what is it, really? And maybe more importantly, if you're just starting out, where do you even begin to look for it? Well, that is exactly what we're going to map out right now.
Every great explorer needs a map, right? And our journey is no different. The world of philosophy can feel huge, totally uncharted. But the good news is, thinkers have been drawing this map for centuries. So let's take a look at the main continents of thought.
Okay, so these are the big five. Think of them as the major continents on our map. You've got metaphysics, which basically asks, what's real? Then epistemology, which asks, okay, but how do we know? There's ethics, which explores, how should we live our lives? Logic, which is all about correct reasoning. And finally, aesthetics, the study of beauty and art. Pretty much every big question you can think of lands in one of these areas. So let's zoom in on that first one, metaphysics. We said it asks, what is real? This branch gets into the fundamental nature of reality, existence, being itself. It tackles the biggest of the big questions. Everything from, does God exist, to what is the nature of time? And then you've got epistemology. It's the perfect follow-up, right? If metaphysics asks what's real, epistemology comes right in and asks, okay, but how could we ever actually know what's real? This is the theory of knowledge. It looks at what knowledge even is, how we get it, and what makes a belief justified. This is absolutely central to any quest for wisdom.
All right, so we have our map, but every modern explorer needs a toolkit. So let's pack our bags with some of the best digital gear for navigating the world of philosophy today. And the best part is, these tools are free and totally accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Seriously, your journey into any new philosophical topic should begin at one of these two places: the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, everyone just calls it the SEP, and Philosophy Compass. Think of these as your base camps for this whole expedition.
Now, this helps you choose the right tool for the job. The SEP is kind of the gold standard. It's incredibly thorough, but fair warning, it can get pretty dense and technical. Philosophy Compass, on the other hand, is often a bit more accessible and gives you a great survey of a topic. So here's my advice. For a really deep dive, start with the SEP. For a quicker overview of a current debate, check out Philosophy Compass. So once you've gotten your bearings with an encyclopedia entry, it's time to dig a little deeper, to get into the actual conversation. And for that, you absolutely need to know about PhilPapers. Now, this isn't an encyclopedia. Think of it as a massive directory of pretty much every philosophical article and book out there. So what makes PhilPapers such a game changer? Well, it's your gateway to the original sources. It's incredibly well organized by topic, all thanks to a team of editors. You can find these huge bibliographies with just a few clicks. And, most importantly, it gives you links that get you to the actual texts. It's an absolutely essential tool for the modern explorer. And look, philosophy isn't just about dusty old books. It's a living, breathing conversation that's happening right now. You can use PhilPapers and Google Alerts to get emails about new articles on topics you're into. The Notre Dame Philosophical Reviews will send you amazing reviews of new books. And Phil Events lets you see what conferences are happening. This is how you can actually listen in on the cutting edge of the field. So you have the map and you have the toolkit. But the final, and honestly, the most important piece of equipment is the right mindset. Being a philosopher isn't just about what you know. It's about a whole way of thinking, of reading, and of engaging with ideas. Yeah, reading philosophy is not like reading a novel. It's a much more active process. First, always think about the context. Who wrote this, and when, and why? Second, you got to find the main point. What's the central thesis they're trying to sell you on? Third, and this is key, you have to find their arguments. How are they trying to prove that thesis? And finally, you assess those arguments.
Are their starting assumptions actually true? And does their conclusion really follow? That is the core of critical thinking.
This is such a simple but profound idea. I mean, think about it. From Socrates arguing in the ancient Athenian marketplace, all the way to today, philosophy has always been about dialogue. The goal isn't just to have an opinion, but to test that opinion against others, to join in the great conversation of ideas.
So how do you have a good philosophical conversation? Well, first, be prepared. You got to do the reading. Second, listen with respect and try to interpret what others are saying in the best possible light. Third, don't be afraid of disagreement. In philosophy, passionate criticism is often a sign that people are taking the ideas really seriously. And finally, remember that the quality of what you say matters way more than the quantity. A single, well-thought-out question can be worth more than a 10-minute speech.
And this quote just nails it perfectly. The goal isn't to win an argument. It's to work together, cooperatively, to try and get a little bit closer to the truth. We're all on the same team here in this mutual search for understanding. It's just a powerful and humbling way to think about disagreement.
So there you have it. You've got a map to the major areas of thought, you have a modern toolkit to find your way, and you've got the mindset of a true explorer. The quest is yours now. So the only thing left to ask is, what big question will you explore first?